Well, hello. I'm using a different, as you can see, format here. I'm back to StreamYard, and hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stay with StreamYard. I just wanted to try to see if I can make it a little bit more manageable for everyone. And some people were complaining about hearing me, and I figured it out after I signed with StreamYard. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of both because I really do like the other format a little bit better. But just let me know what you guys think in the comments or in the chat. So today, guys, I want to talk to you about something that I had mentioned about, it must have been a year or more ago, and it is something that I thought had a lot of promise. And I'm very surprised to say that it's an idea that I still feel like has a lot of promise, but it hasn't really evolved. And what is it exactly? Well, let me just refresh your memory. About a year ago, eBay came out with this video, and I'll play it for you right now. So that is the video that I showed you guys about a year and a half ago. And it talks about the magical listing that you can utilize just any photo, and the AI will do all the work for you. It'll figure out what it's looking at and tell you, okay, here's the title. Here is the item specifics. Here's a nice little item description for you. And I guess what's left is you put the packaging in and you put the price and you fire the thing away and you move on to the next listing. Sounds promising, right? But if we look at this article here from the good work of Liz Morton at Value Added Resource, does eBay magical listing AI tech live up to hype after a year and a half of delay? So we've been talking about this for over a year now. Now, apparently, there's an initial rollout in Germany last month, and eBay is expanding a magical listing AI tech to private personal accounts. So that means that if you're just a personal seller, you don't have your account set as a business account, then you have access to this. And after a year and a half delay, does it live up to the hype? And you would talk about in 2023. Here's what Jamie Iannone said. The version we showed, here's a product that's currently an employee beta, which is how do I figure out what product is sold, product is, and do all the work so the seller doesn't have to do anything. And I'll just tell you a story. We're cleaning up my garage with my wife, and she finds an old remote control from a stereo I had 25 years ago. And she's like, okay, let's throw it out. Like, Jamie, we don't have the stereo. It's been 25 years. And of course, I don't know if this is a real story or not, but he's going to say, okay, better idea. Let me sell it on eBay. Now, I don't know if Jamie's sold anything in his life on eBay. I have my doubts. I mean, why would someone making millions upon millions of dollars as a CEO care about making $25, $30 for a remote? So I literally just hold up my phone to it, and it figures out what this remote control is. It figures out what stereos it's compatible with. It writes a description for the remote control, and I list it on the platform. It says to price it at 30. I price it at 30, and guess what? A week and a half later, this remote control sells for 30. That would have been absolutely been in the trash without this technology. And of course, they show the video that I showed you. Now, notice how the mockup does, in fact, do what Jamie says. So if you watch the video that I showed you, with a baseball card or a basketball card or a football card, it'll do that, right? But after the year and a half delay, here it is again. And talking about creating high quality listings, the right details. But I want to show you this. And when I say they, Liz Morton did one herself with this tool, and she uploaded a picture of a mouse pad. And just like in the video, it did require her to manually enter at least some keywords in the title section before it even offered an option to use this. which is BS. I think AI should be able to identify it. I know I use Grok all the time. It does a great job of doing that. And here we go. She uploads the photo of this turtle mouse pad, and guess what? That's her title, turtle mouse pad. That's it. Not so good. It gives an option for the different categories, and that may be what she typed in, by the way, turtle mouse pad. So finally, it's time to let eBay's magical AI image matching the inference capabilities do their job. Fortunately, it appears to be matching mostly on keywords, not the actual image, and only returns suggestions of variation listings. None of them appeared to be her mouse pad. So that's what it came back with, a lot of nonsense. So she decided to be fair, and she went in and she decided to do one on a common item. How about the Starbucks mug? She wanted to give the interface a chance, at least, to do something right. She had to enter in, I guess she had to enter in the Starbucks mug is what she typed in. And unfortunately, we can see that once again, the AI leans heavily on text matching inference rather than actual image recognition, resulting in a selection of Starbucks mugs that don't actually match the one in my image. Now I'm going to do something here. Going to do a little live experiment because I want you to see this. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to do a screenshot. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to Grok. And I've got a list. I got all these like things that I've listed, and I put photos. So I'll find the screenshot. Here it is. Here's my screenshot. Okay. Now I'm going to ask Grok, tell me what this item is and write me an optimal eBay title and bulletized item description for this item. Okay, that's it. It doesn't, I didn't tell it what it was. I didn't cheat like she did. I didn't go in and, kind of give it a little crutch. And guess what? It's looking at the photo now. Okay. Wow. So the item in the image is a Starbucks reusable tumbler with lid designed for hot or cold beverages. It features the classic Starbucks logo with the mermaid siren in green on the white ceramic body. So guess what? Starbucks reusable white ceramic tumbler with lid, 16 ounce, excellent condition. It even determined the condition by looking at the picture. Okay, and look, bulletized, very clean. I love the bold front. I love everything about it, except I don't really want it to give, you can tell it to not give condition. But why, and I'll remove this off the screen, why is it after a year and a half that eBay can't even do something like this? And it tells me that they're using their own AI, their in-house AI. There's no way they're using Grok or Chat GPT or some of these more advanced ones. And they're going in my opinion, I don't know how much it costs to implement this stuff, but there's got to be a way they can make an agreement with one of these companies to say, hey, we want to utilize your AI and make this thing work. That is exactly what I thought that this program would do, or this magical eBay lister would do. And it's not even at that point yet. So I'm very disappointed in that. It's not all that magical. And to be honest with you, I envision where AI is going to be in a place within 3 years where you can do this same thing, the same thing that I just did. It's going to go into the sold comps and into Terapeak based on your condition, based on your shipping policy, whether you offer free shipping or if you have calculated, and it will calculate how much you should start that item for based on the market. I'm certain that technology is coming to where all you have to do is put the weight, the dimensions of the box and the weight. That's it. And you're all set. You upload, hopefully you upload more than one photo though, but it gives it more information to work with, because even with Grok, when I'm doing my patches, I'll upload the front of the first photo is the front of the patch. The second photo has it next to a ruler. And then the third photo is the back. And you say, this is a single patch, front and back. Tell me what it is. And it does all that for me. It does a pretty good job. I'd say maybe an 80% success rate Sometimes you get one and you're like, no, I don't think it's that. And then you'll have to say, I think it's this, and it'll go and redo it immediately for you. It'll save. So it's promising on its face, but it's not a year and a half later and they still don't have really anything better than what their demo showed. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below, or if you're with us today in the chat. Now, a viewer hit me up a couple hours ago and said, hey, and I didn't even know this was a thing. So I'm sharing this with you. I did a little research on it, and it turns out that it is a thing. And that is a site where you can go in and check to see if it's worth doing business with somebody. And it's called badbuyerlist.org. One word, badbuyerlist.org. Now I'm going to show you the screenshot here in a second. But this particular viewer, messaged me and said, I just sold a $200 item. I was kind of initially, because when you sell something that high, you get kind of careful, right? Of course you insure it, you pack it real good, but what about being careful about who you're doing business with? Now, eBay doesn't care. They don't give us, a way as sellers to warn other sellers through negative feedback that this person is going to be a problem. When you look at their metrics, because most sellers leave an instant positive when they pay. I mean, I do. I mean, it's the easier way to go. I think it's what the algorithm wants. I think it's what eBay wants. So aside from someone going in and leaving false positive, which I don't look for false, I look to see what buyers' behavior are as far as leaving negatives for sellers. Well, maybe that comes out clean, but this person is part of a scam and you just don't know. Now, that's the first thing that some people say, oh, I don't know, like that $1,000 stereo that I sold. I was like, I did look. I looked at their, how they treated sellers. It was clean perfectly. This guy sent me positive. It was great within a week, and everything's good. He's enjoying his new stereo. But it doesn't always turn out that way. And I think many of us are kind of apprehensive that large item that we're selling, that large ticket item. We don't want it to come back and bite us in the butt. Or here comes your return request. And now you're wondering, are they going to send me a brick, or is this even the thing that I sold them? Now, this site, I'll show it to you, allows you, and I wouldn't advocate you doing this for every sale, guys. It's going to make you crazy. You got better things to do. But here's the site, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on the specific situation, but it turns out that this viewer went in and plugged in the name, none of these names. This is just some random, I guess they have a lot of these bad buyers. They plugged in a name and it came back that name was linked to like 12 other scams, and the address that people put gives you a chance to put the address and all that when you're putting a report in, and it matched the address that this viewer had. And they're asking me, well, what do I do? Now, I'm glad that there's a tool like this. This is not provided by eBay, and I don't want to click on links and stuff because honestly, these people, poor Leslie Mitchell down here, she might be innocent. I don't know. And I don't want to get into blaming each and every one of these people because it's a seller's word against the buyer. So I just wanted to let you know that this is a site, maybe a good resource. Instead of getting all worried about and all bent out of shape, should I sell this item or not? Go in and look up the buyer's name, because when you get a sale, you can look up the buyer's name. Now, it just turns out that this particular buyer is on a list of, there's like 4 different usernames that this particular person was associated with, and they're all scams. The addresses are all linked to scams. And they're like, well, what do I do? Here's what I do. And in fact, I even told the viewer to reach out to eBay just to see. I kind of knew what they were going to say, but just to see what they would tell them. And what they said was like, we have a trust and safety department, but yeah, there's not a whole lot we can do here. Surprise, surprise. What I recommended is to go into cancel the sale, by address, And I don't know if it with that one, if it pops up to give you a place to type in why, give more reason why, but to pretty much say that this particular name and address is popping up on this site. And for that reason, it is not an address I can ship to. And then just do that, right? Be done with it. Now, what that's going to do is I doubt highly that buyer, being that they are probably up to no good, is going to reach out to eBay to complain that you canceled this because of that, because they want to stay under the radar. They probably will then just let it go, let it slide, and move on to the next victim. But even if they did contact eBay and say, hey, I didn't want to cancel, and my address I deliver things to all the time. Well, eBay would, I don't see how eBay would force you to follow through with that sale. So again, I don't want to give out usernames and all that for a couple reasons. Some of these usernames that I checked out with this viewer was they were Naru, Naru, which is not a registered user, meaning that they're not going to be, that username ain't going to be able to hurt you. What they do is they create multiple usernames, and eBay has a thing where they look at, okay, we want to see the IP address. But the problem with that is you can still get multiple accounts under the same IP address. And I'll give you an example. That issue that we had where people were sending us trash in the mail, and all the crazy stuff, the used tire and all that. Turns out it was from a fraternity, and they had this frat house that they were sending it from, and they could identify a couple of the users as being part of it, but they had like 20 or 30 people that were registered with eBay, and they didn't want to shut it all down over 2 people, even though they could have all been usernames for that particular scam. So want to know what you guys think on that. Now, usually don't try to do long diatribes. I try to finish within a few minutes, but I thought it was important enough to reach out to you guys and to let you know kind of upfront in this video, to say you can take back some control in who you sell to. I do not recommend you do this on every sale. It'll drive yourself crazy. Because if you get a John Smith and it's like, okay, well, this John Smith just bought this $50 item from me, and you go in and plug it in and you find 5 John Smiths, now you're like, okay, now I'm really confused. Should I sell this item? Don't do that to yourself. If it is a large ticket item, I'd say over $150, over $200, yeah, give it a look. Why not? You never know. You are protecting yourself from a 1 to 2% chance that you're going to get screwed. Now, it feels like it's more than that for many of you guys who had experience, just like I've had experience, but I promise you, we tend to think of the bad transactions that we've experienced, and we kind of forget the hundreds of good transactions, thousands of good transactions that we've had over time. And that one time stings so bad that it kind of overshadows all the positive experiences that you have on eBay. And again, you shouldn't be wasting your time just looking up every transaction. I mean, you just go nuts. So that's kind of what I have for you today. And of course, as we get through the show here, I'm going to go over a few things showing my account and stuff. I don't want to put all the information out. I do know there's a lot of folks that watch, and as soon as I get to the comments, they decide, you know what, I think I'm just going to drop off because it gets kind of blah, say, hey, Joe, hey, Jeff, thanks for being here, blah, blah, blah. It kind of gets boring to some people, but it's something that I enjoy doing. And I'm sure that we give the many returning viewers that watch because they want to be part of this interactive live stream. But just know, hang out with us. We'll try to get some questions in the chat. And I plan on kind of going over some of my account performance stuff here as well. So Brenda Smith dropped in here first. That's awesome. Nice to see you, Brenda. We got Pitco says second. Well, it's been a while since I was second. Derek's with us, Derek W. Pat, and we have Mike Metco, missing Jenna. Yeah, she's, oh, by the way, programming note, Jenna stayed another week with her sister. Sister wasn't feeling well, and we weren't sure. This was like on Friday, and she was supposed to come back on Sunday. we weren't sure if, she left and then it would be like difficult, her dealing with the kids and all that. So I pretty much said, the best thing to do, as much as I hate for you to stay out there another week, I missed the hell out of her, but the right thing to do would to be just to come home. I mean, come home in a week, give it another week, and help kind of stabilize things there. So I think her sister's feeling better actually, and they're kind of now getting into party mode where they're now like looking at things they can cook and go into Hobby Lobby and having a good time. So she'll be back here in a week on Monday's show, next Monday, and I'm going to try to work on getting a guest for this Friday. See if we can get a guest on the show somehow. But Mike says, hi, John and chat. Missing you, Jenna. Hope all is well with you and your family. Get home safely. My sales have been off lately, waiting for yard sales to kick in here in New York. My sales have been kind of weird, kind of all over the map. One day it'll be great. Next day it'll be kind of questionable. Then it'll be good again. And, I'll show you the numbers here in a little bit. So there's some side combo. Keith says, this month is got to be the worst month on eBay for me that I have ever had, hoping next month will be better. That's surprising to me. I'm hearing a lot of people having good months. So I don't know. Hopefully it's just an isolated thing for you, or maybe it's a UK thing. Keith's done 900 pounds in the last 30 days. So that's more like, for those of you in the US, 900 pounds is probably like $1,200. Brenda says, happy Monday, everyone. I may have to watch the replay. Baseball game tonight. Yes. Don't know who you're watching. A lot of baseball on tonight. My Angels are off, so it can't be them. Flipping for the trailers says, hi, John and Jenna. How are you guys? And everyone in the chat. eBay is so funny. I sat around most of the week and did almost nothing. And then Sunday had 11 sales. Crazy. Yeah, I had sort of an explosion in sales on my second account. Really strange. And it sort of happened to where I'm not getting a lot of listings on that account right now. I did some of the yard sale things that I found. But despite that, I'm getting quite a few sales on the second account. And I think it is because a few days ago, I was on the app. And remember that situation where they said, oh, you had a Vero. Okay. And then I called them because they Veroed my Vero that was taken down, saying that I used the stock photo when I basically took a stock photo and made it my own kind of thing, and then made my own to look like a stock photo. That one. And then they told me, well, we keep the deleted listing or the ended listing in your endeds for 60 days as a reminder to you not to do it again, blah, blah, blah. Now on the PC, I wasn't able to find a way to delete it. I don't want it there. I know that I had a Vero. You don't have to keep reminding me. And I don't want it there because to me, I know it's a red flag. I know it's there. And I know that ever since the Vero, which is like when I was away on that trip to a few days ago, that account was sporadic. I went on the app and I swiped left when I saw that listing and it gave me a delete option. Oh, okay. Hit it, went away. And my sales came back. Now, of course, tinfoil all over the place. It may be just a coincidence. I'm always looking at things that could cause something else to happen. That's just the way my mind works. So if it comes off as conspiracy or tinfoil, that's just the way I roll, or the way my mind works. It's like cause and effect. This causes this to happen, then it could be this causes this to happen. It could be because of what I did here and nothing to do with organic. That just the way my mind works. So it isn't like, hey, we still have dinosaurs and they're just hidden in Area 51 and stuff like that. No, it's not like that. Mike says, I think you're right, Keith. I don't realize that when I scheduled it. Okay, so Mike has, I think I passed the remark. I didn't mean to. But Mike has on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. So in 2 days, he's having his live stream with Tina with the Lake Exchange is going to be on Mike Metco meetups. So go and check that out. I mean, if you're not a member, I guess you wouldn't watch the member live anyway. But if you are a member of this channel, we do have a members only. I'm going to be doing at 3 p.m. on Wednesday Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, just like the same time we do these lives. And it's only $2.99 if you want to be a member, support the channel that way. But we keep it cheap so that people that want to be involved and it's kind of like a workshop in a way. We go over other stores and stuff on eBay and our own. Sometimes I'll go over mine. Sometimes I'll go over someone who says, hey, look at my store. A way to kind of learn from each other without it being blasted out to the masses. So that's one of the big turnoffs. If we put it out for everyone, then it's like I ain't showing my store to everyone and having them critique me. But 20, 30 people, that's a little different story, and we get a lot done that way. But if you want to check it out, become a member, and I will put out a link Wednesday morning, afternoon for the show, and we'll do what we always do, get together and talk shop. Let's see. Kind of get back down to where I was. We got flipping for the trailers to cha-ching. I haven't even liked yet. Yes, hit that like button. Get your sale within the next 24 hours. I don't know how or why it works. It just does. Derek says, I made the same mistake twice this week. Unless it was eBay bug. Yeah, we'll blame eBay. I thought I had calculated shipping, but it was free shipping instead. Still made profit, but tiny. That will bite you in the butt. And that's why I don't really like to have some listings with free, some listings with calculated, because when you're looking at that offer, it really doesn't tell you if it's free shipping or calculated. Many times I'll have to go in and look at the listing just to see what I'm dealing with, and then come back to that screen and either accept the offer or not. And there's some listings where you kind of have to do free shipping because, that's the market says that people won't pay shipping on this item. They would like the shower shitter thing. I used to try to charge shipping on that. It's a larger item. I don't want to eat shipping to Florida or, who knows where. So I was trying to charge like $40 plus shipping, that in some cases made it like a $80, $90 item. That was turning people off. So then I had to figure, well, I do want to sell these. I'm into these for $6 each. It was one of those buys where I was in the middle of a poker game online with my phone between hands thinking, oh, this could be a great deal. And it wasn't a bad deal, but it took so long to sell these. I'm down to like my last 10 or 11. But I had to go in to get those to even move for me. I had to go in and do like 50, I think it was $59.99 free shipping. Then my markdown sale kicked in, and then I'm sure my coupon is on top of that. And people are paying $50 for the most part. And I'm making money on that after, in most shipping scenarios go into effect. But I'm finding that, it's like maybe double, triple my money after it's all said and done. So it's definitely not worth the squeeze. And you could say, well, it's only one SKU. You only had to do one listing. But I have one of these 14 by 14 by 9 boxes that are tying up space in my storage unit that once they're sold, I won't be the toilet seat king much longer. Let me just put it that way. Let's see if I can see anybody else. We got ACDC for life. Says Brenda gets a cookie. Yes. I want to make some cookies, actually. That sounds good. Pensacola Flipper says, good afternoon. eBay must think I'm still away because my sales ain't there. And that's, I got a lot of flack for that. I got a lot of flack. I don't know if you guys saw the Profit Playbook podcast this last weekend. We had Kevin on, and that was a good show. We kind of ribbed him about the comments that were made towards me on the Trash to Cash program, where sort of a controversial take. Does eBay use the location services? When you put an app on your phone and you get that message, this app wants to use your location services. Well, why? Why do they want to use it? What are they going to use it for? Obviously, there's something baked into that program or that app to make that feature worthwhile, because not every app does track you. And then when you leave and go somewhere, have no service like I did, like you basically are off the face of the earth, eBay can't track you. They're like, we don't know where this guy is. And if we let him sell a bunch of items, then he may not follow through. Of course, you're going to feel that way when the sales kind of mimic. And every time you leave and go into that big particular place every year, been doing it for over about 20 years now. every time you make this trip out to this Parker, Arizona, there's this one town called Earp, California, where we have this resort, and there is absolutely no reception for T-Mobile customers. I am off the face of the earth, and every year it is the same thing. Now, maybe I need to switch to AT&T or Verizon, which is probably in the cards. But yeah, that's certainly a thing in my mind. And you won't convince me otherwise. I mean, look, there's sometimes there's things that are going on, and any amount of data ain't going to convince you otherwise. Now, I'm not saying I do that with everything, but that's just, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's people out there that know, I've seen this happen too many times. Yeah, you might have a different experience, but this is mine. And when I talk about cell phones and maybe switching to carriers, it kind of makes me want to kind of put out a little reminder for you guys. Now, I know with the tariffs, the U.S. just put out a thing saying that there's an exemption for cell phones and laptops. I believe it's a temporary exemption to where these tariffs aren't going to jack up the prices of your iPhone or your next laptop. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. You don't have to rush out for those things. But I'm in the need, maybe for not a need, a like to have. So it's not necessarily a want. It's not necessarily a need. It's more of a like to have right in the middle. Where my TV out in the garage, it's a 43-inch, like 8-year-old TV, and it's on the fritz. It like hangs. It doesn't play half the time. When I put it on the YouTube, there's a little YouTube app. It's a Roku TV. And I'm like, man, it'd be nice to be able to watch or listen to some of these shows while I'm out here working. And sometimes I'll just put my music on when I can't. But I'm thinking right now is probably the best time to get any of your electronics that you need or want or like to have, because pretty soon the price is going to be jacked up for you to a point where it's like, I can do without. I'll pass. So like for me, I've been debating. I almost went the other day. I thought this other TV that's in this guest room was going to work. I was just going to swap them out. This thing couldn't even pick up my network. It said that my network didn't exist. So it doesn't even do the wireless thing anymore. So that's out. I think it's time. And some of these TVs are cheap. A 50-inch at Best Buy, I think was like $200. So I don't need that big of a TV, but they have other TVs in that range that aren't that expensive. So just something to throw out there if you're in the ballpark for, buying some kind of electronics item, and you don't want to have to deal with the tariffs. They haven't really hit yet, but they will be hitting at some point down the road. Mike Sellers says, South Dakota, greetings from Ranger and Mike. Nice to see you, Mike and Ranger. Mike says, hit that like for a sale. I just got mine. First sale of the day. I need it. Yes, it's been really just weird for me. I've been doing a lot of listing and everything. I've been doing well on that front. Even been working with clothes, getting some clothes listed. So it's not my forte, but I kind of feel like the stuff that I got at the yard sale this weekend, you guys saw that video. I feel like when I get the stuff, I feel almost like I want that stuff listed because I don't want it to exist in my pile. I want it to be up and out. So I kind of let that stuff cut the front of the line, get that stuff listed. Usually I'm motivated to list it right when I get home. And that's kind of what I did while watching the Masters this weekend. By the way, it was a good match. Really good. Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida. Nice to see you, Kevin. Henri Squab's with us. Nice to see Henri Squab. And Callie Debs out there in Burbank. How many people felt I'll call it a tremor. It's not now California, Southern California they call it an earthquake, but at 5.2, I do not count that as a real earthquake. And you might say I sound like I'm out of my mind, but I've lived in Southern California most of my life. And I can tell you, I've been through the Northridge quake. I've been through the Big Bear quake. Was it the Landers quake? These were huge 6.9 quakes, 6.7 quakes, that things flying off shelves and being through all that. The 5.2 ain't the quake. It's more of a tremor to me. And it's funny how people get all up in arms. Oh, my whatever fell off the table. and go in and bump into your table at some point and something's going to fall off. It ain't newsworthy, but that's just my perspective. Chastity says, hey all, nice to see you. Coppercat says, hello FA family, hope everyone had a good weekend and a busy week this week. It's always busy for me. I keep it busy. And if you're a reseller, the cool thing about reselling is you can keep it as simple as you want to, or you can get really into the weeds if you want to. And no matter what level you're on, there's always something to do. So like most resellers have like some kind of a death pile, say death pile or backstock, where it's like, yeah, I can go list some more, but I'm good. I've done enough today. But there's always something to do. Can you go in and do like some, maybe go in and edit some listings, or go in and end item sell something? There's all kinds of things you can do, but it all depends on your processes and what you want to do with it. And I just choose to really utilize my time in a way where I'm doing as much as I can. Flip It Good says, happy Monday. Nice to see you. And we got Ping G. Oh, good. The volume's great today. And I knew that. Here's what happened. After the show, after the debacle on Friday, and I again apologize for Friday. Friday was not me, guys. It was an imposter. That was not me. I was having a bad day, and then everything, and I had a show already worked out. So what you guys don't know is on my right screen, I have all these tabs that I like to show you guys on my show. So I went with like a minute past 3, which is a minute late in the program. Okay, let's launch the show, and it wouldn't work. We found out that when I clicked over, my camera stopped working, and you guys couldn't see me. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to terminate that live stream, and then it told me I had to reboot. Now, when I went to reboot, it said, we've got a Windows update for you of all times. And it didn't give me a chance to say, no, I don't want the update right now. And it said, okay, went through its whole thing on the screen. And then I came back and I'm setting everything up. But all the links that I had for you guys to cover, like material, was gone. I didn't have anything to talk about. And that's why when I came back on, you guys sort of saved the show. I mean, it wasn't for your involvement and understanding that it would have been just a really sad live. I mean, it already was, but it would have been a lot worse than it was. So doing good, and hopefully you guys are good and can hear me okay. 865 Picker says, sound and video are good. Love it. Pork Chops has already hit the like button and ready for my sale. Hit that like button, guys. Get a sale within the next 24 hours. Got Todd on with us. Thanks for being here, Todd. And we have Gail. I have it here, and I have it on my media page. But that's another reason why I don't like StreamYard. That's well with my Stream Deck down here. I mean, I guess there's a way I can go and do it, but yeah, I don't. And now it wants to go crazy and won't shut up. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to make you go nuts with all that pinball, but you guys know what I'm talking about here. Hopefully you guys can hear that just fine. Who else do we have with us? Let's see. Katie Pazdra says, I have great items. I list regularly and still hearing crickets. Where are all the buyers? Went from $1,500 to $50 in a week. I would love for somebody to give me what they're doing and their store name. Any volunteers out there? Because what I want to do is, and this is kind of what we do on the members only live. We go in, we look at a store, we look at a listing and say, okay, why isn't this listing selling? So we go in and maybe investigate. Has it sold? That's the number one thing you should be doing. If you have items and you're not making sales, and you have other people selling items that are very, very similar or the same as what you're selling, that speaks volumes to me as to maybe it's something that you're doing, and I don't want to say wrong, but you're doing differently. And if you see someone with success selling what you're trying to sell, but you can't, it's time to emulate what they're doing. I don't want to say copy their photos. Don't copy their photos. But there's nothing saying, oh, they have this laid out this way. They have this item photoed this way. Maybe you're selling clothes and you have them on a hanger and they're using flat lay. Well, start using flat lay for that. Make your listing to be as close to those listings as you possibly can. And one thing you're going to find in many cases is, oh, wow, they sold this item, but I don't want to sell this item for that. I want to sell it for this. And so that's what's holding you back. And if you were willing to bring it down to market, you'll sell the item. So I think there's so many answers to slow sales questions. Until everyone reports in every category that sales are dead, then sales are out there and we're competing for a much smaller buyer pool than we've ever had, in my opinion. Peter says, I have issues with the AI generated description. Not sure I want eBay to hold me accountable for their inaccuracies. They are sometimes inaccurate. That's why I like doing the Grok one. So with all these, you got to proofread. It's no different than if you have a VA doing the work for you. You know, you take the photos, you put them all in a file or like a Dropbox location, you give them access to, and you have the, I don't know however you have it set up, but you tell that VA, okay, here are the photos. Now I want you to research what these are and make me a listing for each one of these with the photos that I provided and give me the price point based on the condition that you see, you know, whatever, however you do it. And you're going to have a VA that's going to make mistakes. You're like, no, that ain't it for sure. And you're going to have to correct their work. I've seen, like I said, Grok has about an 85% success rate based on my previous uploads to Grok, where I'm uploading multiple. It'll let you do up to 3 photos, I think. And that's what I do. It does a pretty good job. Sometimes I have to say, no, that's an Illinois patch. It's not Washington State. And they're like, oh, okay. So that makes sense. It'll say that makes sense. And based on that, it'll do another research and it'll come up within seconds with that title that I requested and that item description. And then I go in, I kind of take the title, I paste it into the listing. And now I use my training because when I used to do drop shipping, this is back in 2017, 2018, I learned that it's all about keyword placement and having the right keywords. So I'm looking at this and I'm organizing the keywords within the listing, and this camera's going nuts on me for some reason again. Haven't replaced it yet. And guess what? I was able to really do well learning how to utilize my keywords. And while Grok and all these AI programs do a decent job, in many cases, you have to proofread that. It likes to add condition in. It likes to say, oh, new condition. Well, this is a pre-owned item. So you kind of have to sometimes tell it, don't mention condition. And then the next batch of requests, it won't mention the condition. And the good thing about it is you don't have to tell it for every one you do. You just tell it once, and then every batch underneath it during that session, it'll remember what you've told it to do. Let's see who else we have. Jenna's in the house. So she's in Party Central in California hanging out. Nice to see you. And she's like, what are you smiling about? I was on the phone with her because she likes to call me. She likes to check up on me through video phone. It's like, I want to make sure you are where you are. I don't know, but it is what it is. And so I'm sitting there smiling when she's on the phone. And she's like, what are you smiling about? I'm like, I don't know. It just sounds like you guys are having a good time, you know? I'm not judging, but you just have a good time out there. I'll hold things down here. Joe says, hi, Jenna. Nice to see you, Joe. Let's see. Yep. And then Todd, he's solid. And if, in fact, I think the like button already knows that Todd's coming because he's getting sales like you can't believe when we go live. Big Dre says, hello, John, Jenna in chat. Nice to see you. A lot of greetings to Jenna. Jenna says, honey, you're looking good today. Well, actually, I'm looking better than I did when you called me on on video. What is it? FaceTime. I look like holy hell, but that's because, you know, I'm just like, got to shave. And I decided, oh, by the way, I wore this shirt. People definitely would not recommend. I don't know if it's upside. Is it backwards to you? It looks backwards to me. Maybe not, but on my view, it looks backwards. Because of the badbuyerlist.org, I thought, you know what? People suck. I mean, going through, and I'll bring this back up, to have someone have to create this website and all the people that are on this database, and some of them are in some kind of a racket where they're together with a bunch of people trying to scam people. People suck. Not all, but some people just suck. And I think this is a site that you might want to bookmark if you have spare time and you want to check it out. Looks like they have some X posts that maybe you can click on. I don't know if anything comes up. I'm not going to try, but looks like you can like it. You can post from X or whatever, or 2X from here. And there's a newsletter, and you even get a confirmation email when you report a bad buyer. So you get enough reports for the same person, and guess what? See, one report, if I'm a seller and Joe Blow is buying my item and I go on and Joe Blow is on there and it's like one person, I'm like, I don't know. Joe Blow has a lot of positives, but only one person on here. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if I cancel the sale. Silver Fox, we got Jovial's with us. Nice to see you, Jovial. Major Wen says, hello all. Hope you're having a great day. Having a great day. Nice to see you, Major Wen. Thanks for being here. Better than normal, I guess. I've been sleeping better, and I've had to. I haven't been using this for some time, but I will take melatonin when I find that sleep. So what happens is I will fall asleep and then I'll wake up an hour later and then my mind takes over and I start thinking about just random things that come into my mind, sometimes about the channel, sometimes about the store. And there'll be many times I'll think of something I feel is kind of in the moment, like half dead asleep in the moment, kind of brilliant. And I'll even grab my phone and put it in my notes like, oh, this would be a good video idea. But I cannot get back to sleep. And this melatonin has kind of allowed me to sleep through that. So yeah, I just, maybe I'm not active enough, because I find that when I'm active, I tend to sleep better without all that nonsense. But yeah, having a great day. Better day. I can't say great day. Great day would be like, wow, I have $1,000 day. I mean, haven't seen that yet today. But aside from the results, I don't want to be result oriented. I'm having a pretty decent day. Chastity, I was talking to somebody else, not me. Let's see. Jenna says her sister's doing pretty good. She got her out of the house and trying to set her up to be more independent since I leave on Saturday. I'm confused. I thought we were leaving on Sunday. I'm picking you up on Sunday, right? Not Saturday? Let me know. I don't know if you changed your plans again. Big Dre says, I think it's all the fracking being done in the U.S. causing these earthquakes, which means more to come and probably worse. I don't think so, Big Dre. I think that quakes are less frequent than they used to be. They are. They are less frequent than they used to be. Late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, the quakes were kind of happening. I remember one day I was in high school. This is many, many years ago, but this was around 1990. And I had this, I can remember I was at PE and I'm sitting there waiting for the whole PE thing to happen. And I was talking to some friends. I said, this just feels weird today. I said, I think we're going to have an earthquake. I just feel like we're going to have an earthquake. And we get home from school. I'm sitting in this chair, this easy chair. And wouldn't you know it, here comes a 6-point something earthquake. And I'm like, I called it. We were having them more frequently there. And the ones that we've had the last 10, 20 years have been tremors. They're not big ones. And I'm not wishing big ones, but the longer we go without a really big one, the chance that a really big one is going to hit. I hate to say that. I hate to put that out there, but that's sort of a known thing that we're due for a major one. I hate to say it. Mr. Sadie, nice to see you, Mr. Sadie. Nobody likes a suck up Todd, but he's getting his sales. I mean, what can you do? I'm glad he's reporting and letting me know. We got Bear in the house. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you, Bear. You got Josh Galt with us. Thanks for being here, Josh. He finally figured it out, guys. He finally figured it out. And he went on a stroll, and you got to watch his channel. He finally figured it out. So go and check that out. So we got a new member, I think. Katie, awesome. Thanks for being a member. And don't forget to come hang out with us on Wednesday. That's awesome of you. Thanks for being a member. And of course, in order to get to these thingies, I have to go down here, and you don't even have. I'll do that. Nice. It won't let me do the. Oh, that won't shut up. Nice. Okay. Joe says, I had a birthday last week, wondering which generation I belong to, Boomer X, Millennial, or whatever. I was born in 1940. Joe, you are a boomer, man. You are a boomer. My dad was a boomer. I think you had to be born in the early 60s or before to be considered a boomer. And then anything after like the mid 60s, you're Gen X. So I'm Gen X and you are not. I'm certain of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am. Juan is with us. Hey guys, hope y'all are doing great. Doing great, Juan. Nice to see you. And Larry Way Out says hi, John, Jenna, and Mike and Josh. Of course, nice to see you, Larry. Got to get together again at some point. I met up with Larry a couple times and for dinner, and it was always a great time. And then Jenna says, we're not partying, John. Trying to get her out and about so she gets back to being independent without the feeling of passing out. Have a good time. Real Timeless Vintage says, my sales is crap on Etsy. I got a sale and repeat customer on my Shopify store. I will list more on eBay, and let's see. Yeah, get that stuff up. Get listing, get cross listing. You guys know that you see the little banner running across the bottom. Go check out TreeCat. It's a sponsor to the channel. They are a relatively new cross-listing tool and unique from any other cross-listing tool in that you pay as you sell. So if you are like, I am not making any sales, I don't want to pay for a program and be more in debt or make less money, but you pay as you sell. And it only makes sense. I mean, there's many programs out there that are really good, but you got to pay like 30, 40, 50, 60 plus dollars a month. And that's kind of dreadful. It's like, okay, well, I didn't have a great month. Plus I got to pay for all these things. So go check them out. Use the link down below. And by using the link down below, you get a better deal on your per sale fees. Mia C. Crest is with us. Thanks for being here, Mia, or Maya. Could be Maya or Mia. So Pitco said, yes. So Mike's live will be on after John's members live. And I think it's good. In fact, Mike, if you want to, I know you're a member of this channel, come hang out with us. I don't know how much time you have to prepare for your live, but come hang out with us for a good chunk of the live. We usually do it for an hour, hour and a half anyway. And that way you're there and remind me to send people over to your channel to kind of help you with your life. You want, you need goods and books. Thanks for being a member. And you want, you need says, hey, John and FAE fam, I hope you're all well. I was at the post office, so I'm a little late, but it's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have. That's awesome. My carrier wasn't here today, but he has really gotten really good about getting his replacements to come here. And I think that they knew that they had to come pick up packages. This guy wasn't prepared. He said, my truck's full. I'm like, well, I've got a bag full of packages plus the stack that I'll bring out to you. And I'm like, he had a bunch of packages laying in the back. I'm like, how do you figure this out? You know, because I don't want my package being left somewhere because it's in the gotta be delivered pile. I mean, I guess they scan something. It tells them how close they are to the destination. So he's like, if we accidentally scan this package, it's going to say this is going to California and I'm not in California. So, okay. As long as you know that, then I'm comfortable with it. But my carrier normally comes here and they scan as he's putting it in the truck. He's scanning the package. And this guy didn't do that, but I'm just grateful that he picked it up. Basket Noodle's with us. Nice to see you, Basket Noodle. Now, I just have to have this caveat. Love your takes when I understand them. So if there's a take I cannot understand, I will be loading it into Grok and have it translated for me so it's not over my head. Whoops, wrong one. Rhiannon says, hey, John and FA fam. Nice to see you, Rhiannon. Awesome that you're here. And I'm going to get down here. A lot of greetings for people. I love the fact that everyone's sort of in tune with each other. That's awesome. Major Win says, location services is beneficial for auto-populating shipping as well, right? Where you're shipping from. Well, that you have in your listing. So you have a place within your listings that eBay wants to know your shipping location. So that's where that is. So if you're shipping from, let's say, Miami and your home base is in New York, eBay knows that, because eBay knows that sometimes as sellers, we have maybe a relationship with a company who's willing to ship on our behalf. And that's a good relationship to have if you can, figure that out, because that's going to really help you build a really good store. But eBay knows that. So you're in New York and then you have someone shipping out from Miami. So when those packages show that they're shipping and tracking from Miami, eBay's cool with it because it's in that listing. Maybe you have one SKU that comes from Miami. So in that listing, you have that zip code. So that's what eBay has used in the past. I know this because they accused me of being a drop shipper. Well, I was like 2 years before you accused me, and I had to provide invoices for the pallets that I was buying, which was no problem, and they unflagged me. So I do know that they use that for that reason, but I'm talking about your app having location services turned on or off, and you can tell it when it pops up. This app is requesting location services. You can say, people asking me questions. I thought someone was trying to hit me up. You could say that I don't want it to track my location. But what does that do within the app itself? eBay cannot track you to know. I don't know. This is just out there, guys. It's out there, and there's people on both sides of the coin saying, how ridiculous is that? I mean, John, I follow a lot of the things you say, but this one takes the cake. You're just not making sense. And there's people saying, I've noticed that too. Whenever I leave to go someplace, it knows I'm not home. It's my sales just go in the toilet. So I don't know what side of the coin you're on, but it doesn't mean you've lost your mind if you think that I'm right. Baskin says, Earp Resort named after the famous lawman, many ever and few leave. Yeah, it's just Earp, California. It's like, if you look at it on the map, it's like this blip. You'll see the resort I probably, I'm at, or not now, but when I go. Josh, did they cancel the electronics exemption today? Well, I got to tell you guys, if you think that you're going to need something for your business, maybe even something personally, go and get it now, because it's going to be more expensive here very soon. And maybe it is when they get through, their warehouses full of whatever they have here, and they start replenishing it with the new stock, if that's going to take on the new the new price. But we're talking like 145% tariffs. That's like, that $200 TV I was telling you about now becomes $500 again. So, for me, I don't need a TV. I can go outside, flip a coin, and is it going to work today? And if it works good, I could play, live streams in the background while I'm working, or I'll just throw my music on, and it's just a crapshoot every day. But these older TVs, they weren't designed as well to interface with a lot of these TV apps and your Wi-Fi as well as the newer ones do. So I'm thinking it's time to get me a new one. And Jen is like, just do what makes you happy. I'm like, it's not necessarily what makes me happy. What wouldn't make me happy is if I go out there and my TV just takes a dump, thing won't even turn on, and I go to Best Buy and it's like $500 and I could have saved money. So FedEx is here, but I have the packages outside. So they're going to have to just get the packages. Basket noodle, my sesame chicken by end of month will be up 6,000%. What is sesame chicken? Genesis, let's get you a new TV when I get home. You deserve it, honey. I can get it before you get home. I'm thinking about doing it sooner than later because I may do it this week because I don't know when these new prices are going to kick in. I really don't, if there's no exemption to it. Major wins is unprecedented amount of unprecedented times the past few years. Yeah. And don't be in a position where you're just going to kick yourself and like, damn, I could have bought this for 200. Now, if I wanted, it's going to be a lot more. And if I would have just went and bought it, so that's the mindset to have. Just go out. If you think you're going to need it, go get it. Derek says, woohoo, my fastest sale ever. Just listed some ink, and not even a minute later after listing, here comes a sale. I bet you hit the like button, though. I'm giving some credit to the like button on that one. Basket Noodle, open my fortune cookie and will say, no fortune for you. Prepare to be poor. I opened a fortune cookie one time. I don't have the photo. It's probably in my Google photos somewhere. But I was at work at lunch, and it freaked me out because I opened the fortune cookie and it says, you like to gamble and you like to bet on horses. I'm like, how did you know? It was really weird to be that specific. Danya says money nice, money good, money spend, and money is what we're here for. So hopefully you're making that money. Flipping from the trailer says, did you run into Art this weekend, or does he even yard sell anymore? He does more of like the storage auctions, the lockers. He's really into that. Now, I don't think he's not, but I got to tell you, there's so many yard sales this last weekend that if I wanted to hit them all starting at 6 a.m., it would have been impossible. We're talking about at least 200, 60 some on the app, but that's counting each blip that I'm counting is counting the community. So each community has like 30 plus yard sales. Went by a sign today. It says community yard sale this weekend. I'm like, well, crap. If I'd have known this one had it, I would have gone. And so there's so many different places. It's just crazy that we bump into each other. We've bumped into each other at least 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years, but it is just pure luck. I mean, that he at this exact moment is on this street when you might have just passed him. There might have been many times where maybe this weekend where I passed him and or he was on a different side of town. Or Warren felt the earthquake. Nothing bad, but definitely felt it. So, I know those earthquakes. It's like, ooh, and you're waiting for more. So it starts to shake and you're like, you stop and you're waiting and nothing more ever really happens. So you're like, ooh, wow, an earthquake. And you know that TV is going to like jump on and say, oh, someone's glass fell off the table. Let's interview them and ask them how they felt in the moment. No, it's crazy. Danya says, Warren, I start fight with you now. That's really weird. But keep counting that money. Pink says, all of us got the notification on our phones during Meals on Wheels, but no shaking in Anaheim. Heard the shaker was in Julian, California, north of San Diego. Yeah, I knew it was in the San Diego area. Derek says, I must have hit the like button twice. No, don't hit it twice, because when you hit it an even number of times, it wipes out the first one. So just hit it once. Callie Deb says, I felt all the big earthquakes that you did, John. This one was too far away to feel. Yeah. And am I weird in saying that? It's kind of exciting. In a weird way, I don't wish any earthquake on anyone, but it's just kind of like, wow, it was kind of cool. But I'm just weird that way. I'm sure you guys already knew that. Flipping from the trailer says, podcast was great this weekend, John. Well, awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't checked it out, we had a really good conversation with Kevin Commonwealth Flipper. A lot of people say, hey, it's just a commercial for his live platform, but I think it's sort of the way that some people are going with reselling. It's, do they want to list it and wait, or do they want to and get full value, or do they want to get what's acceptable to them and get it gone like ASAP, and then like rinse, lather, rinse, repeat, or whatever the hell. I think it really depends on what you're more comfortable with. Basket Noodle says, wait until they plant chips in us. Just going to see thousands of people stop while they get updated. No, I ain't doing that. Sorry. Now, maybe some of you guys that are younger, a lot younger than I am, maybe that's in your future, but no, it ain't happening here. Flipping for the trailer says, looking at buying an iPad, hope they don't jack them up. Go get one. I mean, this isn't a financial show, but if I was like, now you're going to get me to go buy a new iPad. Jenna, look what Flipping for the trailer is doing here, getting me to buy an iPad, because the one we have, they're like, I think they're like 4 or 5 years old. I don't know. Do we even need one? That's more of a want than a like to have. Devon says, please smash the like button to make that eBay sale. Yes, get that sale, guys. Let's see. Major win. Go for hours. Flipping ain't easy. Major win. Haha. Let her rip. We're just here to learn anyways. We're here to learn. Hopefully you guys, I had someone laugh at me. I don't think they watch the show anymore, but they laughed at me because I said, you watch the show, hopefully you get some nuggets of information that you can use towards your business. And they're like, nuggets? What nuggets? Look, guys, I think not everyone is on the same level of reselling. And there's people that are watching right now that have more to offer than I do. They just don't have a channel. So maybe, you can pick up things that maybe you haven't thought of when someone else is doing. Man, my watch, this watch, it's hooked up to my phone, and every time I get a notification, it's driving me absolutely nuts. Baskin Noodle says, actually, if I make too much, then it impacts my social insecurity deposit. But that's the thing. Look, when you're retired, you're allowed to make X amount of dollars. So you get to that point where you've made X amount of dollars, and you can say, okay, I'm shutting it down until next year. That's what I would do. Sherman says, sales still aren't great, but dropped promoted listings and picked up a few sales. So I'm curious. A lot of people have said that they've made a change. They've dropped their promoted listings, or they've noticed that when their markdown sale ends, they get sales. And I'm thinking that maybe there's something to the thought. And here it goes. Let me fix my tin foil here because it's kind of falling off my head. Any changes you make aren't instantaneous. You're not getting the instantaneous results from that. So you may have turned off the promoted listings, but it may have taken a day or two for the system to say, oh, this dude ain't promoting anymore. So generally, you're going to fall off in sales when you stop promoting listings. And it's the same theory that when I went to Arizona, where I had no, California, where I had no reception, I went on Tuesday night. Wednesday, I had a great sales day. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, garbage, straight garbage. And then I came home Saturday night, and guess what? Sunday, my sales came back on. But I do believe that any changes you make, so like your sale may have ended Sunday night and you're still getting good sales on Monday, but by Tuesday, it may not be so hot. Real Timeless Vintage says there's a store on Etsy that sells fake scrolling for $800. And he got it sold, and my store sells real ones for $200, never sold. I feel that Etsy hides my store listings. They could, and all these platforms reserve the right to do that. Now, how do you get on their good side? I don't know. I think it's becoming more and more clear that you have to start playing their game. One thing, and I'm glad you said that, because I have to remind Jenna. I don't know if Jenna went in and did this, but when you do your taxes, when you're gathering data, you tend to find things that is like, man, what the hell? I'm paying for that. And I don't know when it started, like middle of last year, but we must have turned on the promoted Posh program, the Posh Closet promoted program. And I was seeing charges for like $10 like every 2 weeks. like sometimes 2 or 3 times a month. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So at some point, I guess one of us may have turned on the Posh promoted, but it's been going on, and I need to go and cancel it. I mean, and see what happens. I'm not selling a whole lot on Posh to justify. I don't know how it works if you pay a fee and you just get that preferential treatment. But at least with Posh, we don't have enough clothing to even do that. Now we do have stuff cross listed over, but we're talking like maybe 50 items in my closet, between shoes and clothing. And if it's a flat fee you're paying, to me, it's not worth it. So I need, if Jenna, you're still watching, go and see if you can turn that off, because I don't want to pay $10 every 2 weeks for that. The Burrow says, I think we've seen a bump from Christmas money and tax returns. The last 3 months, my sales have been on fire, and this month it's gone to crickets. Yeah, I think those who are due refunds have already filed. And oh, by the way, tomorrow's the deadline. So if you're a procrastinator, you don't need me to tell you, but get your butt going. It's it's a pain. It's probably one of the dreaded times of year that I experience. I just don't like getting into all the getting all the stuff downloaded and going through everything. And I mean, this year we're using my reseller Genie to help us through that. So I'll be able to report to you next year at this time how things have simplified. But I didn't really jump on using them until after I started doing all this stuff with my taxes. So give them a check out. Use the link down below, and I believe you're saving don't quote me, I think you're saving like 10 to 15% off your first month. And use the code, I believe, Flippin, FLIPPIN, to get that deal on your first month, and get it linked to all your Mercari, Poshmark, and eBay accounts, and start. One thing you really have to do is plug in your solds. So not your solds, but your cost of goods on things. Basket Noodle says, problem now is there are rifts in the tar. No idea what you're saying. That one I don't think AI could decipher for me. Paul Rose says, hi, John. Sorry for the tardiness. I'm spreading myself a bit thin lately. Hope you, Jenna, and her sister are well. Well, nice to see you, Paul. And I do believe that they are having a good time. And I would much rather Jenna say, honey, we are having a great time here. I am so happy that I'm here spending time with my sister. And we're going to just, cook stuff and go shopping without spending money. Okay. And just having a good time, than her reporting that, yeah, she's still in bed and she's not feeling well and it's stressful and all that. So I tease her about it, but it's better that it's going well than if it's not. Joe Samard says, slow sales equals tax day tomorrow. Many bring money being sent to the IRS. I think there could be something to that as well. Like, we do want that TV. Don't know if we're going to buy it. So we'll wait. Let's see. Paul says, right way round on stream, John. I don't know what that means. Now, Paul's from the UK, so they say things a little differently. So maybe if he rephrased this statement, I'll understand. Basket Noodle, love is a rose, but you better not pick it. Only grows when it's on the vine. Handful of thorns and you'll missed it. Lose your love when you say the word mine. I know you've been into the rhyming thing today. You were rhyming on Primo's channel. So Sherman says, John, I'm just like you, a face for radio. Wow, Sherman. What? That ain't right. No, it could be right, but that didn't make it feel right. Jovial says, happy National Gardening Day, or for Paul Rose, happy Gardening Week, and thanks for assisting the old ladies. Now I'm going to be bothered by that, Sherman. I really have a face for radio. Man, that sucks. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do like some of those channels do, where they talk, but they have things going like the B-roll going, so you don't have to see this ugly mug. Basket Noodle says emotional crisis. And are you pointing to B as in Basket Noodle having the emotional crisis, or do you mean me? Henri Squaw says, am I the only one repeating? I hope not. I don't see any other posts. So yeah. Let's see if I can get through this. Major win, emotional support friend, Basket Noodle songs and poems help. You got to get on there, Basket Noodle, to that music.ai website and throw some of these rhymes or some of this poetry into the generator and make some music with it. And Devon woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and could not go back to sleep. For me, though, it's horrible when, okay, let's say I go to bed about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I wake up at midnight, 12:30, and I can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, what the holy hell is going on here? And then you're trying so hard to get to sleep and you can't. And finally, I can't think subconsciously, you kind of give up and you fall asleep. But you've lost so many hours and you wake up groggy because you didn't get a full night's sleep. Keith says, I think it's to do with all the changes eBay is doing with the UK that's causing slow sales. I think they're tinkering and screwing around too. You guys are the beta test for the beta test, because we're in the US. We're always the beta test for whenever eBay implements things. Want to show you, this is what I normally do, but want to show you how we're doing in sales. So I kind of told everyone, wait, we'll talk about sales. I give an update on our accounts, and I do that for a couple reasons. I don't want you to think that this is some guy that hasn't made a sale in weeks up here telling you, flipping ain't easy. And it's the last person I want to get any kind of reselling advice from. It helps build credibility, but it also kind of tells you our story. So here we have our sales. This is our sales for this last 30 days. And going back here, am I the only one that feels like, man, I really don't, I want $1,000 days, but I don't, because it screws up my chart. It makes all my other days look so crappy. So this $1,300 day has caused all these other days to look just minuscule. But today we've only had a $98 on this main account. It's not great. Yesterday was $350, and on Saturday $676. With the Friday it was $83. So we've been all over the place. Nothing to get excited from. 2 sales today, but nonetheless, we're up 59% over the last 30 days. So that just shows you how bad February into March was. February into March. So if we go into the sales for the year, so this is my year to year for the main account, we're at 36,685.14, which is up 9.1%. So I told you guys at the beginning of the year, when we were over 20% up year over year, this number was going to start shrinking. And I want to keep it to where it's closer to double digits than it is here, because if it gets down to the same, I mean, I guess having the same as last year isn't bad. We didn't have a bad year last year, but we're trending in the wrong direction. We're going down. Number of items sold down 9.9% as compared to last year, but we are up 21.1% in ASP, $74.87. I see this number shrinking a little bit too, because we had a pretty decent ASP last year. Now, if something I haven't done, and I show you my second store, and this is kind of weird. My second store, we have 6 sales already today. This is what I called my crap store. And this chart looks more impressive, but not really, because my chart is $200 on this line. But the last few days, I was telling you, $115, $172, and $161. It's outperforming my main store today. But yet, we're down 22% as compared to the previous 30 days. It's really strange. Year over year on that second account is at 8,744. We're up a crazy percent. 359 sold, up 348%, because we weren't selling on this secondary account much at all at the beginning of the year. ASP is only $24 on this account. It's down, and because this is kind of like the things I don't want to put in the main store, I put here. And so combined, we're at like $45,000 in sales. Now sales, it's a tricky number, because sales means just that. It's what you collected, what eBay collected for you from the buyer. But your net is going to be closer to this number here, or maybe even lower, because it doesn't have all of my expenses, but like the cost of goods. But I'm into these items for like $1 or $2 anyway. So it's a little bit lower than that. We're running at about a 45 to 50% margin on both stores. So that'll kind of give you an idea of where we're at. And that's our update. And we try to give you this update every live we do. So you guys can have a running total as to, you can see how we're doing. If you ever thought, well, I wonder how they're doing, we're not doing so great, or we're doing great, you can kind of see. But now, if you see the fact that we sell everything, we don't sell within a niche. So it's really hard to gauge if you're not selling the same things that we're selling to see how you're doing as in comparison. Let's see. Keith says, I think it's to do with all the changes eBay is doing in UK. I read that. Basket Noodle says, the sum of our truths may only be lies learned through our years remembered in time. A shift in the truth to change what is real, and all shall know it is uncertainties I feel. Man, you're on a roll today. But I agree. That sounds very, very true. Devon says, John, remember the rolling earthquakes in California? Oh, yeah, I remember them. I remember one time we were in school. This is how many earthquakes we had back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was in school, and we had an earthquake that happened. I think this was the Northridge quake, this particular one. And we're in school, in high school, and here comes the quake. And I thought it was a truck driving down the street that like adjacent to the school. And it was loud and it was kind of gnarly. And all I know is the teacher got up and yelled, "Get down!" And so we all jumped under our desk and we're waiting for it to stop. But it was kind of trippy. If you've never been through an earthquake, like a big 6.0 or higher earthquake, you don't. And 5.2 to 6.0, because 5.2 is the one today, it's a huge difference in size. And then from 6.0 to 7, it's even bigger than that. It's crazy. Paul says, John, I was up at 6 a.m. yesterday and gardening from 9 to gone 7 p.m. Dozed off early hours and woke up at 2:30 in the morning. Went out for a smoke. I should have slept straight through. It's not just you. Oh, wow. I think you smoke, though, at 2:30 in the morning. You're sort of stimulating your mind. That's probably not going to be very easy to go back to sleep. Basket Noodle says, Josh is very smart. I must find a way to assimilate his DNA. He is well-spoken. He has a lot of experience and he has a lot of drive. So I think there's many people out there who can have, can be well-spoken, can have experience, but they don't take that and try to do something with it. And it's once you try to do something with it where you learn, and you're going to strike out sometimes, but you're going to learn from that failure and it's going to help you succeed eventually. Baskin says, I'm an N boomer, sort of like pop instead of bang. Yeah. So you were probably in the 60s, right? Major Win, I think boomers after 46. My dad's silent generation by a couple of years, 1946. No, because I think is the silent generation after boomer, or is it before boomer? I thought boomer was before Gen X. See, I'm all confused. Okay, Spam says Gen X is 65 to 1980. So there we go. So wouldn't boomer then be 50 to 65? I don't know. I'm confused even more now, but that helps me at least know that I'm square within. I'm 73, so I'm right in that Gen X. Let's see. Getting into some more sidebar convo. Let's see. Mike says, yes, I'm planning on being at your live Wednesday. It's 2 hours before mine. Mine is all set up and ready. It's a live hangout, and we all talk about the meetups. What else? Yeah, but there might be more meetups on the horizon that I'm not aware of, but you're going to be privy to. And also, Mike will be posting anytime he knows of a meetup on a national level. He'll be putting it on the Discord. So if you're not a member of the Discord, there's so much information, whether you want to talk about like Etsy or Depop or eBay or just general stuff that resellers go through. There's a tab for almost every one of these things. And usually we'll have somebody on there that's pretty active that will engage in conversation. Baskin says, most folks today have lived 100 lives and died 1,000. Man, he's writing his poetry book as we speak. Mike, yeah, we just read that one. And Jerry's with us. Nice to see you, Jerry. Finally made it to a live. It's been crazy year so far. Yeah, it's been Really crazy. I'll tell you that. Sherman says niche down to just trading cards and comic books. So that works for Sherman. And then 60 is Groovy says, is that your phone setting? So I believe on your location, every app will have an option for you to turn on or off the location services. And I think there's something to it. Not on every app. Some apps don't even require that, but I know for a fact eBay does. And why do they need it? Basket says, your cell phone locate towers via geolocation IP roaming? It won't. Mike G says, it's that time of year where my NHL hockey team's items sell or games sell. I hit the like for my bonus sales. So he sells video games. So sell those NHL games. And Baskin says, what is sesame chicken? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No, I know what sesame chicken is, but the way you said it, it wasn't clear. I must be way behind. Yeah, not too far behind, about 20 minutes behind. Jovio says, has anyone seen the OLED TVs? Oh my goodness. If you don't have the extra money, stay away from the electronics store. You will convince yourself that's a must-have. Yes. And I'm going to be probably going at some point. I know Jenna wants me to wait, but I don't want to take a chance for them to raise the prices by the time she gets home. And it's going to be a TV she never uses. It's in the garage. Basket Noodle says, at this rate, my Chinese underwear will be worth more than my 401k. Yes, get your Chinese underwear. They have some good underwear on Amazon that is better than the name brands, I think. Easy pickings, Chris. Nice to see you. No shakes and torrents. What's up, John? Not a whole lot. And see, we don't get a lot of earthquakes here. I was in Las Vegas back in, well, what was it, 1988. And we had that rocket fuel plant blow up. It actually blew up. I don't know why it blew up, but it blew the hell up. And that felt like a 6-point something earthquake. I don't know anybody who's in Vegas or was in Vegas when that happened. No, but it felt like a huge earthquake. And I thought, oh crap, we're having an earthquake. It was one of those rolling ones too. And it turned out to be a massive rocket fuel plant that blew up. Big Dre says, I'm also moving all my DVD inventory in-house so I can start listing more, if not all of them. Get that stuff listed. I went to a yard sale this weekend, and in this garage, it was just vinyl. Now, I could have done the drive-by. In fact, I initially did. And then something told me, go ahead and give it a look. Now, I knew, it's like, I told myself as I'm walking up, in no way, there's no way in hell you're buying any more vinyl. Number one, you have no place to put it. Number two, Jenna will absolutely kill you if you do this. So I went in, and the guy had, I'm thinking 4,000 to 5,000. He's from the music industry, and he had like the older ones, the crappier ones on the ground, and he had the ones that were still sealed from the 70s and 80s on his table. And he's like, yeah, I know this one sells, $30. I know this one sells for $40. And I'm like, just for shits and giggles, how much for all of it? Oh, you don't want this stuff. If you're a reseller, you don't want this stuff. I just tell me, what do you want for all of it? And so the stuff on the table were about 400 LPs. They're all, like, most of them were new. Some of them were not, but most of them were new. He was like 1,500 to 2,000. And then, like, he wouldn't give me a number for the rest of them down there. I don't think he could fathom that. There's just so much. But yeah, I don't care if he would have gave me like 10 cents each. I would not have done it. And I know that there's people talking about how LPs are like doing well. It was on Primo's show. He was saying how they were, LPs are doing pretty well lately as compared to even like the 70s when that's all people would buy. But yeah, I'm not, and I don't mind selling LPs at all, but it's just not a very good experience. I mean, we did make some money off it, but it was just a lot of stuff to deal with. Baskin Noodle says, maybe I can find a way using old elastic from my underwear to stop my old Samsung phone around my woohoo for improvised underwear. What in the world is going on? But he does have an idea. I'll make a mobile game where the player has to acquire Chinese mad underwear faster than their 401k tanks. or you probably meant maid underwear. Chastity says, I don't promote on Posh. Etsy will automatically enroll you into offsite ads. So if anyone opens a store, you'll need to go in and opt out. So we don't do Etsy. So yeah, you might be right there. And then flipping from the trailer says, in Florida, we got till May 1 to file. But that's in Florida. You still have to do the federal tomorrow. That's the deadline for taxes. Craig Winan says, slow sales means what has eBay changed now? What has eBay changed now, or what has changed within the market we're selling? I think sometimes we just don't even look at it. How many of us list an item? We do all the things. We see what the item is sold for. We list it, and 2 months down the road, ain't nothing happening, but we haven't realized that it could be that the market has changed for this item. Paul says, John, you asked if your t-shirt was the right way around on the stream. It is. There we go. See that? Now it's in context. I understand what you're saying. Daisy says, nice volume. I love it. Thanks for fixing it. Well, Daisy, thank you for letting me know it was an issue. I know what the problem was on the other one. It's a setting within the software that I didn't have set. So things should be just fine. Now with this video camera pausing me every like 30 minutes or whatever to, do its thing, I've got to figure that out because it's not working for me. Easy Pickens says, I feel you on that one, John. Real world problem. Yeah, for sure. We have Carol's with us. Says Chris. See, I'm not the only one. I do typos too. Jovial said, that's right, folks. Mushrooms grow in shit. See, I said it. Devon says, John, do you like having 2 stores? Does it work better for what you're selling? Yes. We have things that I wouldn't sell in the main store. I don't want to have low ASP. I am a firm believer of having as high ASP as you can. But if you buy lots of stuff, you're going to find that, oh, well, I can't sell this. Maybe it's in a broken condition, but some of the parts are still good. Well, those only fetch like $10 to $20. So how do I move those without putting them on the main store? I really do feel like having a high conversion rate and a higher ASP are attractive to eBay. It's the reason why, like on the main store where we can have, see if I could show it here, listings. I have 400 some odd listings and on the main store, and no, 200 some odd listings on the main store. And I've sold in the last 90 days, 425 items. So we go to there, 425 items in the last 90 days. But if I go to my actives, you'll see that I only have 233 listings. Okay. And this is really, last year I had less than 200 almost throughout the entire year. Not to say I'm not going to keep increasing that number, but I do believe that all the things that we do to our store is allowing us to sell at such a high rate, because there's people right now that have thousands of items in their store and can't sell 400 items in a 90-day period. And that's not a knock on anyone, but if you are that person where the number of items listed is much higher than what's sold, I think you want to start looking into how can I improve that? And I think it's the little things that you do, from, getting rid of the $5 and $10 item that sits in your store for 3 months, put it on a secondary store. My secondary store is not doing that bad either. I really think when we made the change over and moved all the crap out of the main store, our store really took off. Apparently it's a full moon tonight. Interesting. Sherman says, hit the like and got a sale, but it was through a phone call. Does that count? It counts. But, not saying how you're going to get a sale. You're going to get a sale, and you got a sale. Lisa K says, Business Insider put out an article, America is about to become one giant yard sale. A hopeful read. Yeah. Think about it. If the items you sell right now, you are competing with, well, I can't say everyone. There's some people selling ephemera and stuff like that. This statement isn't for you, like collectibles and stuff. But if you're selling items like I do, maybe you can even find similar items at some yard sales that are still, in the stores. You are in competition with the retail sector that are directly affected by these tariffs. And when their prices start going up, their items are going to start looking less attractive to prospective buyers, and people are going to start looking for alternative ways to buy whatever that product is, even though it may not be new. It could be new. I mean, there's many new items on eBay that's sold every day, and that's going to be more attractive to buyers. Now, at what point, I'm wondering, is this going to allow us to bring our prices up? At what point is our market going to bring up the prices? Because right now it's just a haven for people to escape the current prices, and they're expecting a lot more of a discount than what they can get it for Best Buy or Walmart. So at what point are our prices going to go up and stop going down? And when are we going to start getting the leverage? So if that item goes from 200 to 400 and we have it for 100, does that mean we're going to get 150 to 200 for it? You know, and is that going to increase traffic on sites like eBay? That's where we're hoping. Let's see if I can get through some. Jerry's a boomer. And Keith says, I'm thinking of building a website and loading it with products to populate through Google, as this takes time to get off the ground. So I consider getting it going now, especially if eBay keeps going the way it is. Yeah, why not? You never know until you know. You Want You Need says, John, he has the radio show voice that was meant for a song. He's 50 years sober and no hits from the bong. John is a top reseller and he can do it all night long. Wow. I got to meet this John guy. Sounds like a good dude. Devon's laughing. And you know what I forgot? When you say he can do it all night long.
You can do it. You can do it.
There you go. Let's see here. Baskin, greetings, Commonwealth. Good video you launched today. Is Keith here? I mean, Kevin with us? I didn't see Kevin. Where's Kevin? Kevin don't watch this show. I don't see Kevin, but he puts out a lot of good videos in case he's watching. Oh, there he is. He does watch this show. I skipped his comment. I apologize. Nice to see you, Kevin. Sherman Volkman says 1946 to 1965 is baby boomers. Speaking of Kevin, in that group there. At least that's what his trash to cash folks accuse him of. Juan says, Nuggets, heck yeah. The first mistake is thinking that you don't have anything to learn from other people. Some days I drop in for vibes, but there's always knowledge. We always try to give you something. And I don't know if you've learned anything. I hope that you guys have learned this resource, and I'll show it again. No, that's not it. Badbuyerlist.org. So if you're selling that item and you're kind of nervous about it, it's a very expensive item. There's nothing wrong with going in and putting in their name. So you get the name from the actual sale and seeing if other people have reported that person. And you may, this site says 1.4% of online sales are fraud. You know, and you think you think fraud, people committing fraud are targeting the $10, $15 items. I think they're targeting the expensive items. They're getting as much as they can out of you. So if you have a high-priced item, go check it out. Learn the lesson from the viewer that still remains unnamed that is going through this currently. And if you come across that situation, don't be afraid of canceling due to address, and give the honest reason why. This person has many cases in the badbuyerlist.org, and I believe they're a scammer, and I'm not willing to take the chance. Film from the trailer says no state tax in Florida. You're just like us here in Nevada. No state tax in Nevada either. And yeah, as Kevin says, I'm S level, and I didn't know what that meant until I had to have Grok figure it out. And I'm like, S, how come I'm not like, A level? I mean, that's quite a drop down from A level. But apparently, the stupid camera. Apparently, in the video gaming world, if you're S level, that's like top notch. So it's like, oh, that's pretty good. Thank you. Mike G says, thank God, took 4 days for the inventory tool to work again. At least it's working now. Yeah, as Kevin says, I'll see him in 20 minutes. No, I'm actually caught up, pretty much caught up. Major Win, we would have so many bigger problems before choosing store quantity. there's a lot of problems that a lot of sellers have to fix, and I can really not even pinpoint one problem that you can solve that'll fix all your problems. There's like I could probably pinpoint two or three that's a problem for mine, and most people would be like, your store is just fine. There's no problems that you see, but I'm sure that I have problems I can fix. But there's many people who have a lot of issues that if they just solved a few of them, they'd see a huge spike in sales. Basket Noodle says, since said widgets are same per se, is eBay going to get upset because product is same? Simply two stores, one new, one pre-owned? I don't think so. I've not had any issues. In fact, the number of items that we are actually putting out every day in the mail has gone up by, I think, 50%. So we're getting more sales as a result, as compared to having them all combined into one store. You Want You Need says, that's what I was waiting for, John. Thank you. We can all do it and make flipping easy. Yes. Kevin 48, but got carded for Zyme the other day. What is Zyme? Is that a medication? I don't know. Or you got carded for, is that like a senior discount somewhere? Larry Todd says, Baja Blast bad, Zyme good. LOL. I don't know what Zyme is. Now I'm going to have to ask Grok, what is Zyme? See, I learned so much from Grok, and it is saying, see, it goes through all the web pages. It's a brand of nicotine pouches created by Swedish Match, now owned by Philip Morris. So, okay, so you're into that. But see, I don't do the vape. I don't do the chaw. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just clean. I'll do a shot of Fireball on occasion, on an extreme occasion. Otherwise, I'll just pass. Mike Jesus, best fix is listing bangers. We already answered the design question. Direct result of being friends with Dave. Necessity is the mother of invention. So because of his friendship with Dave, he is now stuck with a Zyme addiction. So good luck kicking that. Duncan says, ephemera sales pretty good. Have 5,000 worth of inventory coming in today from one of my suppliers. There you go. Keep listening. That's one of those things that's tariff proof. I mean, it's not affected by any outside influence. Major Win assumed it was a red Zinfandel and the autocorrect kicked in. So that's interesting. I didn't know you did that. I'm not judging you. I'm not passing on judgment. I mean, I know people who vape, and while it's not my cup of tea, you got to do what you feel good about doing, as long as it doesn't hurt you, because we want you to stick around with us for a while, Kevin. Baskin thought he meant Zythromax. Well, and I agree, Duncan. Flipping ain't easy, and we actually had a pretty decent live today, free of any, aside from these video glitches, free of any major problems. So that's good for StreamYard. I still haven't given up on OBS Studio. I really think that there's more. I mean, there's more features and it's easier for me to use, but I currently will be using this probably 50% of the time. And if I notice a huge drop off from the time I'm on StreamYard to the time I go to OBS, then I probably will just get rid of it altogether. So just stick with us, and hopefully more of our lives will be like this one, where we don't have the technical issues that we had. So, bottom line is eBay is going to come out with tools. Now, while I'm hopeful that EA's AI is going to be better than what they've shown, it's really not all that good. And while it may seem to be an exciting feature if you're a personal seller where you have access to it, I mean, have fun with it, but I wouldn't at this point use it every day in your business until they get it better. And in my mind, a refined AI photo listing feature is one where it performs like what I showed you earlier with Grok, where it will identify multiple photos. It'll build you a competent title and build you a nice item description that is populated with a price, and it only requires you to fill in the details that it doesn't know, like your shipping. But waiting for these things and figuring out what new feature to use in your business is certainly a decision we all have to make. But yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want to thank you guys for being here. I want you to have an excellent rest of your week. And we will talk to each and every one of you. Hopefully the members on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And if you're not a member, you should see some videos from me throughout this week. And definitely Friday, we will have a live. So until then, have a great one, and we will talk to you very soon. Take care.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that is within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your style. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh.